USC football just got amazing news after their win over Northwestern last night. Let's talk about it. My name is Paul, together with my buddy Aaron. We are the Big Ten guys. Tune in every day for the latest Big Ten news, insights, and analysis. If you're a fan of USC or any Big Ten football team, this is the channel for you. So please just like and subscribe. I have a feeling we're going to be talking a lot more USC Trojans here, so don't miss out. And then before I get going, let me know what were your thoughts on last night's game. The fake punt was amazing. Maava's hustle play and his big tackle going into the end zone was huge. Just an awesome game, but we like talking to you guys, so let me know all your thoughts on it. But one of the big stories surrounding USC this weekend was somebody came on I believe it was the Bussin' with the Boys podcast and said he isn't so sure that Lincoln Riley is going to be at USC next year. And after the game, Lincoln Riley was asked about it, and he said, "You guys know what I sacrificed to be here. I'm where I need to be." And I think he's right. Like, all these people talking about, like, oh, maybe he wants to go to LSU or Penn State or one of these other schools. Like, he had what some people consider to be a premier job in college football. He was going to the playoffs like routinely, and he gave all that up to go to USC. Like, he's not interested in leaving. Before I get into my take on him, what do you guys think? Because I know we've done some USC videos this year where there are people in the USC fan base, maybe they're starting to have their mind change, but I know there's USC fans out there who don't really care for Lincoln Riley. You guys let me know what you think. But I personally think he's the guy, and if he left, that would be awful for the program. And not only because I do think he's a very good coach, and I think he's got this team heading in the right direction, but also he has the future is so bright at USC right now. Number one recruiting class in the country coming up, and super deep, especially at the line of scrimmage. And I think the reason things have maybe taken a little longer here at USC than people would like is I think this move to the Big Ten really did have an impact on it. And because he's been so used to playing, this air it out football that all of a sudden USC's thrown in the Big Ten, and he's playing so many teams who like to ground and pound, and so many of these random teams, like even your Wisconsins and your Iowas, and like not even talking about the premier programs, they are so good in the trenches and can win football games against teams like USC with far superior athletes because they're so good in the trenches. But you look at, I think Lincoln Riley has figured it out. He hit the portal hard in this last year to boost the line of scrimmage. And then you just look at this recruiting class, like offensive tackle, tight end, D-line, D-line, D-line. Like, he realizes what it's going to take to win in the Big Ten. And, USC football is going to be a team and a force to be reckoned with in the USC or in the Big Ten for future years. And I just want to pull this up real quick too. It sounds like some of these recruits, they're a lot of 4 stars, even some 3 stars, but they are in the California playoffs right now, and you're seeing so many of these guys just having monster games. I think a lot of these guys are maybe a little underrated, and this could end up being like a historically good recruiting class. And then, I keep talking in the future they're going to do this, in the future they're going to do this. They're doing it in the present. They already beat Michigan this year, and I'm a Michigan fan, so I'm still mourning that game, but they completely beat Michigan in the trenches in that game. So you're seeing the progress already, and that's how we've seen. USC's 7-2, and everything is still in front of them. They can still make the playoffs. They would need a little help, but they could win the Big Ten this year if Ohio State gets upset by Michigan or Indiana slips up, and if USC wins out it would go down to whichever one of these one-loss teams is ranked the highest. So, like, they definitely need help to win the Big Ten, but ultimate goal is the playoffs, and that is completely still alive. And you're seeing them beat some of these teams in the trenches that historically I don't think you would have expected him to do that. Like, Michigan has been, like, won the Joe Moore Award 2 years in a row, I think in 22 and 23. And, like, Nebraska has been pretty, well, they're on the defensive side of the ball. They haven't been good in the trenches. But, like, what USC is doing in the present is super impressive. So I don't want anyone talking about, like, how I'm underrating USC. Like, they are very good in the present. I'm just talking in the future, too. This team is built to continue to win. So having Lincoln Riley say, like, I'm committed here, like, I gave up a ton to be here, I'm not leaving, is huge news for the program. And then, just looking at the rest of the season, I like the way this upcoming game is going to shape out for USC. You're going to get USC an extra day of rest. It's going to be at home, where USC has not lost this year. And I like that Iowa's coming off of such a big game. I like that for USC. Like, you got their game against Oregon tonight. I think no matter what happens, it's good for USC. Like, if Iowa pulls off the upset, I think that's good for USC, because you're going to have a team coming off of, like, one of their most emotional, exciting games in years, all of a sudden heading on the road against a USC team who has an extra day of rest and preparation. And I think you could get, like, a big crash down to earth in that game for Iowa. And then on the flip side, if they lose this game and all of a sudden have their third loss, well, now the playoffs aren't in the discussion for Iowa anymore. And you could see a really deflated team coming into that USC game. So Iowa's a very good football team. Nobody should be sleeping on them. I think they really do have a chance against Oregon tonight. But I like USC to beat them. Because Iowa's offense, they're not great. They're certainly not going to be throwing for 300 yards on USC, or anybody for that matter. They do run the ball pretty well, so USC will definitely need to bring their A game. But that was another thing I wanted to bring up is, and specifically about Lincoln Riley. Like, I know some people haven't been thrilled with his in-game coaching, but how about those adjustments last night? Like, this was a close game for a lot of it, and when we thought Northwestern had that pick six, like, I know I was sitting there like, oh man, this is, like, USC's in danger here. But they made adjustments. Northwestern only got 3 points in the second half, and USC's defense really buckled down against an underrated Northwestern team. I hate how much we dwell on, like, preseason rankings and expectations and how they still are dictating a lot of the present day rankings. Please don't get me started on the SEC bias and that. But, like, Northwestern is, like, they're a 500 team in the best conference in college football. They're going to a bowl game. Like, they played Oregon pretty tough. Like, that's a good football team that USC adjusted against and shut them down on offense in the second half and ended up blowing them out every bit as much as Oregon did. So, Trojan fans, you guys got to be super hyped hearing Lincoln Riley saying he's committed for the future, knowing what is coming down the pipeline recruiting-wise, and then also for the end of this season. Like I said, I like USC next week to win, be 8-2, and probably at that point start to be pushing towards being a top 12 team in the playoff rankings heading into that tough road game against Oregon. So everything's still to play for this season. But you guys let me know what you think, and then don't forget, just like and subscribe on the way out.